All right, let's get into it. All right, so today, what we're going to talk about is how do you get money to chase you? And so, this is a really great exercise. And so, I would challenge you to think about the things in your life that are already chasing you, and then learning how to apply that energy to money. Okay, so that's going to be the theme. And so, what I'm going to do as I go through here is I'm going to talk about something that's I've been really good at getting to chase me and how those lessons from that particular thing I've applied to money to get money to chase me as well. All right. So you're going to hear my story as we go through, but I do challenge you to think about what are the things that already chase you? Okay. Because that'll be very helpful for you in understanding these principles on how to manifest money and get it to chase you. All right. So what I've got today is I'm going to talk to you guys. I talk about my husband a lot. I'm going to talk about him today on this live as well, because my husband, this is something that I've been able to do since before learning about the law of attraction. Was I've had a really good time of getting my husband to chase me. Okay, so not every woman gets this in a marriage. And I know this because lots of friends and associated people, relatives have made mention about, oh, your husband spoils you and he's always buying you gifts and doing what you want and he's so nice to you and my husband doesn't do that for me and he barely gets me gifts and I have to nag him all the time. And so there's a certain dynamic that goes on inside of my relationship with my husband that came quite naturally to me. And I noticed that as I learned how to attract money, the same things that I was doing with my husband, I applied to money and I was able to get money to chase me just like my husband chased me. Okay, so understand that you have a relationship with a partner, maybe a husband or a girlfriend or a wife, but you also have a relationship with money. Okay, and so we're going to talk about this relationship and how you can work on these dynamics to draw money in. Now, again, as I'm going through, I'm going to talk about these behaviors, but please go ahead as we're talking and drop your questions in the chat about the stuff you guys would like to learn about abundance, because we'll definitely be trying to hit as many of those as we can as well. All right, so real quick, I do want to say hi to some of you. I do see people joining in over here on Instagram. Nice to see you guys. Hello. Thank you very much. And we also have lots of people over on YouTube right now. Hello, Khaled's Bill. Hello, Ultra Studios. Hi, Ski Ice. Hi, Damien. Hi, Antonio. Hi, Opulent Beauty. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Eva. Hi, Leah. So many people. Hello. Thank you so much for signing in. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lay1111 Lay on Instagram. All right. So thank you guys so much. I do want to go ahead and jump right on in with kind of my first point here, and I'm going to take some questions. Okay. So when we talk about getting money to chase you, I'm going to use this corollary again of how I get my husband to chase me. And it's just kind of a natural process. This isn't something that I'm trying to do anymore. It's just something that always worked for me. And as I learned how to attract money, I realized that the same behaviors were at play within my relationship. Okay, so these are the attitudes I have towards my husband that you can also apply towards money to get money to chase you. All right, so let's talk about the first one. If you want to attract more money, if you want money to chase you, the first thing that we have here is I don't need it. I don't need it. Okay, so with my husband, I do love my husband. And please notice that as I'm going through, please notice that, I'm still paying attention to my husband. I still appreciate my husband, but I don't have this feel that I need him. And this is the attitude you want to have about money too. You want to like it, you want to appreciate it, right? But you don't ever want to feel like you need it, because needing is a state of becoming attached. When we become overly attached to things, we push them away. And so not needing things actually causes them to want you more. So let me give you an example. And so, for those of you who are married or you have a partner, and let's say that you would like your partner to do more things for you, This is advice that you can use for that as well. Okay. So a lot of times I have friends that'll tell me that they always have to nag their husband to do things around the house. Like, I always got to nag my husband to help me out, or he doesn't want to pick things up, or he doesn't want to show up for the things that I need. I'm always nagging him and he never wants to do it. Well, when you're nagging, that's a state of I need you to do it. And when you need someone to do something, they don't want to do it. So instead, what you want to apply is this I don't need it attitude. Okay. And so for instance, my husband's always doing nice stuff for me. Okay. So I can just mention in passing that I'm out of my favorite protein bars. Just mentioning it. I have no intention of him even doing anything for me. But the next thing I know, a few hours later, he's dropping those exact protein bars on the countertop for me. Like he just went out and got them for me. That's been my experience. It's because I don't need him to do these things. So, if you are in a partnership and you want your partner to do things, that's kind of the attitude you want to have. You can ask them and you can do it or not. I can do it myself. I could get somebody else to do it. You don't put it on the partner, but rather you just kind of put it out there and see if they'll just do it for you. And if they don't, do it yourself or ask somebody else to do it and let your partner know, I didn't need you to do it. I can get somebody else to do it. Okay. That's a really great way of getting someone to just do things for you or chase your attention because you're not forcing them to do it and you're not nagging them. Now, let's make the corollary here with money because that's why we're really here, right? We want to attract more money and we want to get money to chase us. I've got an example of this exact dynamic from COVID. You guys remember during COVID, when COVID first started, and a lot of us were like freaking out. Like, where's the money going to come from? What if I can't keep my job? What if, I get fired or laid off? Like, what's going to happen? Well, you want to have the same I wanted to have the same attitude about money in that situation. So I remember at that time, like my husband's in commission-based sales. I do this stuff. I didn't know how this was going to be impacted by COVID. And the first inkling was to start to be worried. I need the money. I need money to come in. But I remembered this. I don't want to need it. I want to remember that I don't need it. Now, fortunately for me at the time, I had some money saved up. Okay. So we had some savings. And so instead of worrying about the money, I would just say, well, I don't need it. I've got money in savings. I've got more than enough. I don't need it. I don't need it. And it was very interesting because during this time period early in COVID, where people were very stressed out about money, and a lot of people were being laid off, and a lot of people were having problems with money, during that time period, because I was putting out that message of I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, my sales actually spiked quite a bit. Like I did real well during COVID. And my husband, he got put on pause, so he couldn't actually make money, but his company actually came forward and just started paying them anyway. So we aligned with money, and I attribute that to not feeling that sense of need. When you need something, it will go away from you. But when you have that attitude of, I don't need your help, I don't need this, now all of a sudden it will chase you. Okay, so that's our first lesson on getting money to chase you is that you want to cultivate this attitude that you don't need it. You don't need it. You are fine as you are. Very important thing. A lot of people feel the opposite way. They really feel like they need money. And if you feel like you need money, you're attached to it. And whenever we're really attached to something, we push it away. It's a form of resistance. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go through and answer a question or two. Again, if you've got questions, drop them in the chat. Damien, hello, Andrea. I have been looking for a decent job for years with some breaks. I went to more than 40 interviews, but they don't hire me unless it's a terrible job, not worth going to. Can you please help me? Okay, so when you see something like that where you keep having the same experience over and over and over again, what's going on in that situation, Damien, is that you've come to identify that that process isn't going to work for you. Okay, so every time I go into the job interview, there's this concern or worry that it isn't going to work out. Okay. And so it becomes self reinforcing. And so this is a very common thing. And I'm sure all of you have had this experience before where something just never seems to work for you. Maybe it works for other people, but it never seems to work for you. I used to have this experience when it came to like winning things. So, like, if I put my name in for a raffle, I never won. Okay. Never won. And coming to understand that what's going on in that situation is that you've just come to expect that it's not going to work out. That's what's going on. I've just come to expect that it's not going to work out. And so that's the first thing, is that just kind of owning that. It's not a judgment. It's just that, hey, it didn't work out a few times. And then I came to expect it wasn't going to work out. And then I became more and more stressed about it, and it didn't work out more because the law of attraction reinforced what I believed. Now, what you can do in addition to that is you can switch up your process. Okay, so go about the process of, going for jobs a little bit differently. Think of a new strategy. Okay, because if you have a new strategy, like maybe right now you're applying online. Let's just give you an example. Right now, I'm always applying online. That's the way I've always done it, and I'm never getting a result. Well, let's switch it up and pick something different. So maybe now go and look for referrals, like from friends, okay, or networking, or finding a different way to come at it. Because if you have a different way of coming at it, you can start from a different energetic starting point. Now, when you take that move and you do it the other way, you want to get on the right foot with it. So before you even start moving into that, I want you to think about, okay, this is a new way. This could be exciting. This could work out. This is going to be more fun. Visualize success with that particular strategy so that as you do it the new way, you're projecting a more optimistic energy. Okay. Because right now you're just stuck in a rut. That's all it is. Okay. Antonio asks, "Hello, Andrea. What is your take on charity, tipping, and volunteering?" I think it's great. I think it's great. I think the caveat to that is do it from a state of an abundance, not a state of obligation. So if you're giving money because you feel obligated to, then that's kind of a sense of this money is being taken from me. Okay. And so and a lot of people get into this rut where they give a lot, like they very generous and they volunteer a lot, but they feel like they're obligated to. So then they're stepping into this energetic state of always feeling like money's being taken from me. Money's being taken from me. And in situations like that, it can create a self-reinforcing idea in your reality where more money gets taken from you, or that people are always taking advantage of you. So, giving is great, but you want to make sure that when you give, you're giving from an abundant state. Like you really feel like I have more than enough. I have more than enough time or energy, and I'm giving from a place of I have a surplus. Okay. So now every time I tip or I give, I have a surplus. I have a surplus. And then you attract more of a surplus. Hope that's helpful. All right. So let's continue on here because, again, we're talking about how to get money to chase you. And again, I'm making the correlation between how I get my husband to chase me. And I say get to, these are things that I've been doing for years. They're very dominant. They are very natural to me. And all of you have things that chase you. So I want you to think about the things that chase you and apply that same attitude towards money to get money to chase you. Okay. But we're going to talk about my husband today because he's a great example. Okay. So the next one that I have here. I'll get to it when I'm ready. I'll get to it when I'm good and ready. That's an attitude that I have towards my husband. And it's an attitude that I've adopted towards money. So let me explain why this is helpful and it's important in getting money to chase you. I'll get to it when I want to. A lot of times people have this feeling about money that it is so important. Okay. It needs to take all of my focus. I would say, of all of the subjects, it is one of the ones that's usually at the top for people. They will drop anything about money to save a dollar, to make a dollar. Money comes first. And what you want to have an attitude about is that I come first. I come first and I'll get to it when I'm ready. Okay. We don't ever want to externalize the importance on the thing that we want. Rather, we want to be the most important thing. And when we become the most important thing, those things that we want will chase us. So if we're talking about my husband, okay, I have this attitude with him, and it may seem kind of rude at times. And I actually used to feel kind of bad about it until I realized that this is one of the reasons why he treats me so well. If, let's say, I'm walking through the house and I'm on my way to go blow dry my hair, that's what I'm about to go do. I had plans to blow dry my hair, and now I'm going through the house, and that's what I'm about to do. If my husband stops me in the hallway and he wants to talk, he wants to give me his attention, he wants me to put my stuff on pause for him, I will straight up tell him, listen, right now, I'm going to go blow dry my hair. I'll talk to you when I've got time. I'll get to you when it's time. That kind of an attitude is a more detached attitude. It puts me and my priorities first. It keeps me in alignment with what I want to do. And then that makes the subject more inclined to chase you. The same thing is true with money. And I've seen this and I've talked about this ad nauseum on my channel that, taking breaks from my work or not paying attention to money or just going and doing what's fun for me very frequently aligns with money just showing up. When I'm just having a good time, all of a sudden I'll walk in the house and there'll be a check on the countertop that came in from someplace, or some sales just show up in my inbox. Stuff, money just shows up when I put myself first. Now, a lot of times, again, in relationships and also with money, people often put the object that they want on the pedestal. So, like in the context of relationships, you can think about, maybe the girl who's dating the guy and she really wants the guy to like her. So every time he calls, she's just there at a drop of a hat. She'll cancel plans to go hang out with him. Doesn't work. It actually chases him away. So the girl who actually puts her own needs first is the one that typically gets the guy to chase her. The same is true for money. So with money, if you're putting money on a pedestal, uh-uh, kick it off the pedestal. You're on the pedestal. You'll get to money when you're good and ready. Okay, so don't stop your plans because there's an opportunity to get a sale. Don't stop your plans because there's an opportunity to make a quick buck over here. If you have something that you want to be doing, put your stuff first. Money will come when you're good and ready to deal with it. Okay? All right. Again, if you guys got questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Additionally, I am working on a new program, and this is a detachment program. It's going to be called Relax and Detach. And so this program is about mastering the art of letting go. So if you're having a hard time letting go of your desires and you feel like you're ruminating about them a lot or obsessing about them a lot, this program is really going to show you how to become a detachment master. So you can put things out and let them go. And if there's things that you're really stuck on, you can let those go as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. So there's also a link for that particular program if you want notifications when that course goes live. And that one will also open at a discount for the first week. So if you sign up for those notifications, you'd be able to get the Relaxed and Detached program for 50% off. So go ahead and sign up for those if you are interested. Let's look here and see what's going on in the questions here. Again, if you guys got questions, drop them in the chat. Okay, let me see if I can say this on Instagram. Hola, Lola Lazar. I know I butchered that. I'm sorry. What's your position on the evil eye? Talking about something that works for me sometimes sends me a karmic lesson of suddenly having trouble with this topic. Do you know what I mean? Love you. Love you too. Talking about something that works for me sometimes sends me a karmic lesson of suddenly having trouble with oh, okay. I don't know if that's are these two different questions? My position on evil eye is that is that it's you're the creator of your reality. Okay. So a lot of times with evil eye, what they're usually talking about is that, people around you are somehow sending you negative thoughts or they're thinking badly about you and it can cause problems or issues in your reality. But you have to remember you're the creator of your reality. So if someone's sending you the evil eye, What it means is that you have some kind of a negative perception that's going on inside of you that's being reflected out to that person. So either I think that person's out to get me, or I think evil people are coming to get me, or I think that people can direct lessons towards me, and that will make you a match for those kinds of experiences. So you won't really need to worry about you don't need to worry about correcting the evil eye coming at you. It's more about, what am I putting out? Do I have positive expectations for what people think about me, believe about me, what my luck is going to be? The second thing here, talking about something that works for me sometimes sends me a karmic lesson. Suddenly having trouble with this topic. I think what you're referring to is, like, some people have kind of this, um, what's the word? Superstition, that if I talk about it, it's gonna turn on me. If I tell people it's working, it's suddenly not gonna work. I'm gonna jinx myself. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. So, think about that. You're just jinxing yourself. You're not being jinxed. It's not like it has to happen that way. It's just that I have perhaps this underlying belief that if I talk about this, there's going to be a negative repercussion. If I talk about this, I'm going to jinx the subject. Now, in the short term, just don't talk about it. That's the easy solution. But you can try on smaller levels on things that aren't that important to you. Practice. I'm going to tell people about this and it's still going to work. So on small things, I'm going to tell them about this and it's still going to work for me. And see if you can change the energy on the small stuff. And if you can change it on the small stuff, you'll be able to change it on the big stuff. Hope that is helpful. Oh, yeah, Mary, thank you. My moderator and assistant, Mary 1111, is in the chat on YouTube. She also dropped the links there. Method Muse, thanks for doing all these lives, Andrea. It's helpful to see the Q&A. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Hello, Bobby. Mark says, "Hi from Thailand. I think I can manifest something, but not what I wanted. I can manifest the number 111 on a cash register, a billboard, on 3 license plates from 3 cars in front of me, but not in my bank." Okay. A lot of people have that kind of a question, which is that, I can see it working. It works on kind of the small, insignificant stuff. So seeing 1111, no problem. Right. But getting the big check in the bank, that's where we kind of get tied up. Okay, so the reason why that is that there's a very low degree of resistance with an 1111 or 111, right? Like, hey, it's nice when we see it, right? But I'm not going to go to bed crying if I don't see 1111 tonight, right? And so that's why the smaller stuff is usually easy for people to manifest, is that they just don't care. So they're able to detach from it. That's what's going on. You're able to have that detached attitude from the 111, but the money in the bank feels like a big deal. Okay. And so that's why we're talking about these attitudes here, because these attitudes that I'm talking about that I direct towards my husband will get you more into that place of who cares about it. Okay. And that's really what you're trying to cultivate. And not like my husband is somebody that we can just discard and he's not important. He is important, but I don't have this sense that I need him. Okay. Rather, it's fine. It'll get there when it's there. Who cares? That's kind of what the attitude that we want to have about the bigger stuff. Okay. So let's move along, talk about the next point here on the message. Okay. Here's the next one. The thing that you want wants you. So he wants me, or it wants me, money wants me. Okay. Whatever it is that you want. So for me, like with my husband, I have that attitude. He wants me. Okay. Same attitude you want to have towards money. Money wants me. A lot of times, what we have is the flipped message: I want the money. I want the money. And when we have this attitude, it means that, again, we are attached. We need for it to come. We need for it to be there. I want it. I need it. All right. We want to flip that around and place the subject in the place of wanting us. Because if your husband wants you, he's going to chase you. If money wants you, it's going to chase you. It's a very important attitude to have. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. So one of the ways that I do this with money that I wanted to make sure to talk about, I have kind of this attitude about money that it wants to be around me. It wants to be where its friends are, so to speak. So this is one particular tactic that I use with money. And I've talked about this before on my channel is that I like to carry around a lot of money. Okay. So I like to carry around a lot of bills. So in my purse, I usually carry quite a bit. And so whenever I look into my wallet or I look into my purse and I see that money there, one of the things that I like to dwell on is that, money's got a lot of friends right here and it wants to be around itself. It wants to be here with me because this is where its friends are. Okay. So like money wants to come into my pocket because it wants to be where its friends are. All right. So, like the other day, I was taking my daughter to registration. So, school's almost out. I'm sorry, school's almost in. Thank goodness. My kids go back to school tomorrow. I'm sure if you're a parent, you're probably excited about that too. But my daughter and I went to registration and we had to go pay for her parking. So, she had to sign up to get registration to be able to park her car in the parking lot. And we're there, and I've got my purse, and we go up and we have to pay $20. Well, my money was kind of disorganized, and so I just kind of pull out this giant wad of cash, fish out my $20 and give it to him. And I could kind of feel the eyeballs around me kind of look at me, because sometimes I get that look from people when I've got large sums of money that I just pull out of my wallet. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And the immediate kind of thought is almost like an insecurity, like, "Oh, I don't want people to see all this. This is kind of awkward." But if I have a situation like that, I'll practice that. I'm like, "Well, this is the money. I'm showing everybody where the money is because money wants to be around me. It wants to be where its friends are, and it's going to see its friends here, and more money is going to come to me." And so I had that moment where I thought about that. All of money's friends wants to be with me. Money wants to be with me. And when I came home, I had that example that I talked about earlier, where I came home and all of a sudden there was a check that my husband had brought in that was sitting on the countertop. So money just came in to be closer to its friends, to be closer to me. So think of yourself as being popular to your subject. It wants me, it wants to be around me, it wants to be my friend. Okay, that's a really great attitude to have rather than I want the money, I want the money, I need the money. Okay, you want to turn it around because if you believe that money wants you, money is going to want you, and things that want you will chase you. Yeah, again, guys, go ahead and make sure to like this video if you haven't yet already. Also, if you have not yet, go ahead and subscribe onto YouTube or follow me on Instagram if you're not already. And if you are new to my work and you haven't yet taken my manifesting test, please make sure to go ahead and do that. Mary, if you would drop that into the YouTube chat, that'd be great. If you are on Instagram, that is at manifestingtest.com. So if you would like to know for sure that you really are the creator of your reality, I've designed a very quick 5-minute test where you can prove it to yourself and put something out and watch it come back. And so to take that test, you can go to manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. That's free, quick, and easy validation that you really are the creator of your reality. All right, let's look through here and see if we've got any other questions from you guys. Looks like we've got a few. See what we got. This Dreamers TV asks on Instagram, does scripting your day and retelling it in the way you wish it to be help with manifestation? Yes. Yes. So, scripting your day, I would say you don't want to be too militant about it. So, I wouldn't necessarily recommend like every day you need to sit down and write out a 35 paragraph essay about how your day is going to go because if that's the way you're doing it, you're probably going to resent all the hard work. But a simple thing that you can do that I do recommend is that when you wake up in the morning, just kind of go through the major things that you're pretty sure you're going to be doing and just imagine a good outcome for each of them. Okay? Just go through and imagine a good outcome for each of them. That's a really quick thing that you can do in the morning that starts to line you up with the thought that this is going to work out. Today is going to work out. I'm going to get the things that I want. It's a very great suggestion. I'm glad that you brought that one up. Stephen the artist asks, Should you go out and meet new people that live a life of abundance, or will it look for you? Well, it depends on where you're at. Frequently, if you're not attracting the well, not frequently, if you're not attracting the money that you want, you are going to find that a lot of the people that you're around are less abundant because birds of a feather, right? We're going to attract the kind of people that resonate where we're at in terms of money. So in that case, yes, it does help. It helps to, maybe go do your shopping in a more abundant mall. Go to the more affluent grocery store. Go join some clubs that are around people that have money. Where I live now, one of the big reasons that I wanted to move here was for this exact principle that you're bringing up. Because the town that I came from, nice town, great people, lovely people, not abundant. And I knew that this particular community was. And so wanted to move here to get around these kinds of people and this kind of attitude and this kind of mentality. And then not surprisingly, after I moved here, my income started shooting up. Okay, so I do recommend it. Absolutely. It definitely helps to speed things up. Leah says, I keep thinking about that weird comment on your live. Oh, it just jumped up about the sugar babies. Thanks for reminding me about that. That was funny. Girl About Town 100, Andrea, I constantly see duplicate numbers whenever I look at a clock, it's like they're chasing me. Everyone I know has noticed this keeps happening to me too. What does it mean? It just means you expect it now. That's it. That's it. You started noticing it, and then through the law of attraction, because you were noticing it, you noticed it more, and noticed it more, noticed it more, and now you're like, "This is crazy. I see so many of these," and now you're reaffirming that even in this statement. They're chasing me. They're chasing me. They keep coming after me. You're gonna get more of them. Okay. Now, again, the numbers are very low resistance, but that's the same kind of attitude you kind of want to have towards money. So when money shows up, this is a little side note, guys. When money shows up, ooh, money's chasing me. Ooh, money just showed up on the ground. Money's chasing me. Do that. It's chasing me. More money came into my account. More money showed up. And noticing that will accelerate it. Okay. So apply that to money. Okay. All right. All right. So let's move along here. If we're talking about how to get money to chase you, and again, I'm making the correlation between how I get my husband to chase me. These, again, are not things I intended to do. They were just things I was doing. And I noticed that when I applied these attitudes towards money, more money came my way. All right. He or they, money, my husband feels better around me. It feels better around me. Okay. So I somehow improve my husband's life, or I somehow improve money's life. Money feels better around me. Notice, you may notice that as I'm going through this, I've really personified money. And I think that that's really helpful. A lot of times people think of money as being like an inanimate object, but you have a relationship with money, just like you have a relationship with another person. And so thinking about having a relationship with money is helpful. Money is your friend, money wants you. But this is the key point here: it feels better around me. I make it feel good because you're going to get chased by things that feel good in your presence. So, like with my husband, when we're out and about, I can tell that he thinks I'm funny, or that, he being around me makes him feel like he's more of a man, or he's more this. I can feel that or sense that, and I focus on that. Okay. He feels better when he's around me. That sense, that attitude, that belief structure causes him to chase me more, causes him to want to be around me, causes him to want to spend more time with me, causes him to want to do nice things for me. The same attitude you want to apply towards money. Money feels better around me. So, what do I mean by that? How do you apply that towards money? Well, one of the things that I like to focus on is that, well, I appreciate money. Money comes to me and I appreciate it. So of course it's going to feel better around me. Money comes to me and I use it on nice things, or I make it look pretty. I show it off. Like I'm good with the money. So I make money feel better. So money feels better around me. That's the thing. A lot of times we have that flipped. I feel better when I'm around money. Okay, so now I have to chase the money because the money is going to make me feel better. Or I feel better when my husband or my girlfriend or my spouse is around. Now I have to chase that person to feel better. You want to flip that. They feel better around me. Okay, that's not to say you can't feel good around your partner and you can't feel good around money, but you want to create that dynamic where money is coming after you. Then the message has to be money feels better around me. Okay, that's going to make it want to chase you more. Very important thing to understand. So, a lot of this again is about understanding the dynamic of who's chasing who here. If I'm chasing money, these are all characteristics that I'm putting on the money that is causing me to chase it. If we want money to chase us, we have to say that money wants these things from us. That's why it's coming after us. And again, personifying money and focusing on the relationship that you have with it is a really great way to implement these strategies and make money chase you more. All right. Let's see what kind of questions we've got going on now. Again, if you guys have questions about abundance, feel free to drop them into the chat. I'll answer as many as I can. TM, I have a question. How do you balance manifesting desires by doing nothing with following guidance from the universe to take certain actions? Okay, so I had a live I did a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago. Can't remember which one it was though, right off the top. I think it was the do nothing one. Um, so action's not required. You don't ever have to do anything to manifest anything because reality is a dream. Okay, so it's all being created through mental projection. The action that you're taking is like you're just kind of playing in the dream. So it's an illusion that the action is actually creating the result. So that's the first thing to understand is that you don't actually have to take action. But what we're doing here in reality is we're playing reality like a game. So it's kind of like a video game that we've set up and that we're operating it as a player. All right. So the action that you take is for the sake of enjoying the game. That's it. So if you're playing the game and you're having fun and you're getting into flow state and you're taking action that way, then you'll get good results. So anytime that we're taking action and we can get into that flow state where we're just having fun and going with it, everything's lining up, then you will get results from your action. But if you're taking action from a place of, I need to take action to get the result, now you're not going to be in flow. You're probably going to be frustrated, stressed, working hard, not enjoying the game. That action won't work. So the purpose of the action is to put you in flow state. Period. Okay? The purpose of the action is not to get the manifestation. Okay? Because you can manifest anything just with this. Okay. The purpose of the action is to get into flow state. So the projection you're putting out is one that's positively expectant. Okay, so that's the only action that you want to take. I hope that helps. Abundant one. Not sure what path to take as far as an occupation. I honestly want to get paid to just be. How can I create income for just being? Okay, well, if that's what you want, okay, if you want the idea of inaction, and you might not, you might, but I'm just gonna say you might not because let me take this off on Instagram. You might not because again, reality is for the purpose of playing a game. So I don't think perhaps you want to just be inactive. Okay, but that doesn't mean you couldn't just make money and not have a job or anything like that. That's perfectly possible. But what I would say is that if you want to generate more income without needing work, then what you want to do is you want to focus on money that's already coming to you that doesn't come to you through work. And you want to celebrate that and honor that and appreciate that. So if it's just that you're finding money on the floor, Every time you find money on the floor, be excited about that. If you're earning interest or dividends from an investment that's requiring you to do nothing, really focus on that and appreciate that. It may help to kind of keep track of that. So, counting money can be helpful. You might want to get a journal where you add up all the money that's coming in as it comes in from things that did not require you to work. The reason why this will be helpful is that whatever you focus on expands. So, if you're focused on money coming from just randomly, then money coming randomly is going to accelerate in your world in more ways that don't require you to work. Dealing with criticism. I'm loving your jewelry, Andrea. Is it fine or high jewelry? Ooh, well, talking about my husband. Yeah, this is he's gets me some nice stuff. So talking about how he chases me around. So this is a Cartier bracelet he got me for Mother's Day. I don't just get flowers. And a Gucci bracelet, which is nice. But yeah, this is all real stuff. Thank you. And I do like having real jewelry for that purpose because I do feel like having nice jewelry, wearing nice jewelry does kind of help you get into alignment with attracting more money. I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but that's one of my abundant strategies is I do try to get nice real stuff and then I wear it. So I'm always looking at it and reminding myself that I'm abundant. I'm abundant. It's another little side tip for y'all if you like it. Not for everybody, but I like it. My Life by Julia. I found $10 on the ground when I got out of the doctor's appointment last month, and it made me think of your videos. Oh, good. 10 bucks. That's a good one. I like that. Phil asks, does spending quickly make it come back quickly? Spending quickly, like spending a lot? I would say yes. But you kind of have to be up to speed with it. It's kind of like that question that someone asked earlier about tipping and generosity. You want to make sure that as you spend, you're spending from a place of abundance rather than it being taken from you or it being out of control. It has to be from a state of abundance. So, spending quickly, I have noticed that because there's been times where I've really got into spending money and then money just started rolling in really, really fast, but you have to be in that state of as you're spending feeling like, okay, I got this, I got more than enough, I've got more than enough, I've got more than enough. If you can do that fast, yeah, it's going to come back really, really quick. If you're spending and it feels like this is too much, I'm spending too much, this is out of control, then you're going to attract a different outcome. So I do talk a lot about spending and letting go of money to attract money, and it's very helpful information to know because it does help if you can let go for it to come back. But what you want to ask yourself when you're spending the money is, am I actually able to let it go? Can I just let it go? If I can let it go like it's no problem, then yes, spending it's going to be very, very empowering for you to attract more money. So keep that in mind. With the spending strategies, I do recommend you start where you're at. So start with amounts that are comfortable for you to let go. Get used to that cycle of I let it go, more came back. I let it go, more came back. And once that becomes normal, then increase your spending to do more so that you use momentum to get you to that place where you can spend large amounts and let go very easily of large amounts, and even larger amounts come your way. Z Faroki says, how do you make yourself believe something or my husband wants me if I see he doesn't care? Okay. Okay, so you're having the opposite experience with the husband. You're not alone. A lot of people have that experience. So, husband's showing me he doesn't care. So, how do I get into the alternative energy? So, again, remember always they're not they're not coming up with this on their own. Okay. They're not figure husband didn't make that up on his own. So what I mean by that is that this is an infinite playground that we're working in. So there are infinite versions of any person, including your husband. infinite versions. There are versions of him that like you very much, and there are versions of him that don't care or find you annoying or whatever. Okay, so everybody can be multifaceted. You, as the creator, are lining up with the version of your husband that you want, or better said, the version of your husband that you're a match to, meaning this is what I expect to see from this character in my reality. So if husband is showing you that he doesn't care, it's probably because somewhere along the line you started to pick up on that idea or think that that was a possibility, or maybe you always worried that your husband wouldn't like you that much, and that built up momentum. So now he's just showing that to you. I don't care, because he's confirming that belief that you have about him. Okay. So that's why the strategies that I've been talking about with my husband have been effective, because I'm looking at him like, well, he wants me, he likes me. I make him look better. Like this is the projection that I'm putting on him causes him to line up with being the person who chases me, buys me stuff, takes care of me, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So that's what you're going to want to try to work with. It may help, because the husband's so close to you right now, to just focus on taking some steps back. And instead of working on him so much, what I would recommend is kind of put him to the side in terms of trying to change him, and make it all about you right now. What do I want to be doing? What do I have going on? So it was one of those first tips that I mentioned about, I'll get to him when it's the right time. Focus on you. What do you want to be doing? Because what will happen is you'll start to focus on, I'm doing what I want for myself, and I love myself. 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 When that's the dominant message, the people around you are going to love you too, love you too, love you too, love you too. So that's what I would work on first and foremost. So don't try to change him, but instead, all that energy that you're directing outward towards him, redirect it towards yourself, and focus on doing the things that you love and getting engrossed in your own life. That will cause him and other people to want to spend more attention on you and to show you love and favor, etc. Hope that's helpful. Bianca K. Kim Harley says, ooh, what did I put here? Yes, even with money, I've been broke my whole life, grew up poor, so it's difficult to believe that money is abundant. I get it. I didn't grow up like super poor, but I grew up with a lot less money and with family that had very negative opinions about money. So it can change. It can change. It can. You don't have to stay there. One thing that's helpful for me is anything that is an old thought about money, I just unilaterally say is wrong. Okay. So if I'm in conversation with somebody and they talk to me in a way that maybe my parents talked to me about money, or what my old thoughts were about money, when I hear someone saying stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's got to be, that's got to be not abundant talk. And I automatically label it as, oh, that's just old poverty thinking, rather than what is common we often lean into. So someone tells you your old beliefs, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right, that is too expensive." And you kind of go there with them. If you hear someone talking the way that you heard speech as a child about money, just automatically label it as poverty mindset, so that you can immediately take your mind off of it and you don't feed into it, because those are conversations that are easy to get into that will keep you stuck in that mindset. And then also, yeah, getting around, like somebody else was mentioning on YouTube about getting around more abundant people, that's helpful too, because then you'll be around abundant speech. Hello, Jorge from Michigan. I lived in Michigan. Thank you, Pap K39. These lives are gold. Thank you so much. And your BFF won an Olympic gold medal in soccer? Denise Del Ready? Well, congratulations. Yes, gold loves to be with, yeah, gold is your friend. Yeah. I like it. Okay, Z Faroki, my husband has feelings, but money doesn't. Okay, let's assume money has feelings. Let's just assume it. Assume it. Why is money any less real than anything else? Assume it has feelings. That will be helpful for you. It's your reality. A lot of times we create money to be some inanimate object. which is funny because it's so important to us, but it doesn't have feelings. It's not real. It doesn't matter. Personify it as a person and make it easier for you to work with it. Kate Lamb 168 says, "Choose what you love to do first instead of what you have to do for money?" Question mark. Yes. Yes. That but a lot of times people think that that's an either or. And that you want to straighten out because sometimes people feel that if they do what they love, I don't see how the money's going to come from that, or the idea of like marrying for love or money, it's one or the other. You want to kind of get out of that attitude, okay? What you love can produce money. Maybe I don't know how, but it can. But more importantly, when I'm centered on myself, I become a magnet for all things wanted, including money. Okay, so yeah, it's very important that you do what you want to do as much as possible. Very important. I'm over on Instagram for a minute. One more question from Instagram. Aaron Brinkman, what can you say about credit? Credit. Ooh. Okay, so I mentioned this a while back. Credit cards, if as an individual lender, so like if you're spending using credit cards, my recommendation is always pay them off in full at the end of the month. And that's not because I'm a financial advisor, okay? That's the reason why is that energetically, if you're in the habit of carrying a balance on a credit card and using your credit cards to buy things, what you're saying energetically is when you buy things, I don't have the money for this. Okay. Because I'm using the credit card, I'm using money that doesn't exist. This is a loan. It's not mine. I'm spending somebody else's money. Okay. So every time I spend that way and I don't pay my credit card off, what I'm saying is, I don't have the money for this. I don't have the money for this. I don't have the money for this. And you have to understand that the message that you put out repeatedly to the universe really impacts how money comes to you. And spending is such a great opportunity to practice an abundant mindset. So when you spend with cash, or if you spend on a credit card that you pay off each month, the message that you put out every time you buy something, cup of coffee or a car, it doesn't matter. The message that you're putting out is, I have enough money for this. I have more than enough money for this. I have more than enough money for this. And that becomes reinforced on your reality and makes you a bigger match to money. So credit, although, if you've got to use it, you've got to use it. And I don't want to shame anybody for using it, but what I would say as a day-to-day strategy, you want to try to pay in cash as much as possible. And you want to try or on credit cards that you pay off as much as possible because then the programming that you're always putting out is, I have more than enough. I have more than enough. I have more than enough. And that will magnetize more money to you to ensure that you always have more than enough to buy the things that you want. This is why people who get stuck on credit cards often end up in a lot of debt. It's not just because they're using the credit cards. It's because the fact that they're using the credit cards and they're reinforcing the idea that they don't have enough. Now the cash that flows to them is greatly reduced and they cannot pay down those credit card bills. Okay, so you want to flip that. Yeah, I'm going to answer another question here I want to answer, but real quick, if you guys are interested, we are talking abundance today. Mary, if you would drop the courses and downloads link. I do have a lot of abundance programs. So if you are interested in learning about abundance, I do have a lot of programs that you can look at. They are at my website, andreaschulman.com. But Mary's going to go ahead and drop that into the YouTube chat. So if you are on YouTube, you can click that one. If you are on Instagram, it's that website right there, andreaschulman.com. Quite a few abundance programs. So if you like this kind of content and you want to learn more about attracting money, definitely go ahead and check those out. Writing with Brad 888. How do you manifest a dream home? Focus on the idea that where you live right now is dreamlike. You have to start to put out the message. I have a good living situation. I'm thankful for the home that I have. I'm abundant and blessed in my home. These are the things I like about my home. The problem most people have is where they're at. They're focused on what they don't like about their current living situations. I don't like this house. I don't like this neighborhood. I don't like these neighbors. I don't like da 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 da. And when that happens, no matter where they go, they never end up in that dream home. So the trick there is to really focus on what do you like and appreciate about your current residence. That's really, really important. And then in addition to that, it can be very helpful to do some visualizations and some thoughts about, that pie in the sky, or is that the right word? Whatever, that that big dream home. It's important to kind of think about those too. But if you're going to think about the dream home, you also simultaneously have to think about, I'm blessed in my current living situations. I love where I live. I'm so lucky to be here. That will allow you to get into the home that you want, because now you're not focused on, I don't like my home. Rather, the message is, I have a great home already. And when you have a great home already, the universe is going to match you up with a better one. Okay, so that's the quick advice for that one. Bradford asks, how did you manifest your Maserati? Okay, so that was an interesting technique, because that one was that was an even better manifestation. So here's the technique. It's really fun. Okay, so if you have something that you're banging your head against, sometimes it can help to drop that and ask for something bigger. So what had happened at the time was I was looking for a new Cadillac Escalade. That's what I wanted. I wanted an Escalade, and I wanted a specific type. It's the all blacked out one. All right. This was right after 2020. And I don't know if you guys remember, but like during that time, there was like the supply chain issues, and it was hard to find cars and all these limitations, right? About why you couldn't get a car. But we were looking for this Cadillac and just couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. Months went on. And as that was happening, I started to recognize that, oh, okay, I've gotten too resistant with the Cadillac. Okay. So when something like that happens where you want something and it's getting delayed, 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 noticing that and noticing that, okay, I've become resistant. When I can tell that that has happened, what I'll generally do is I'll drop it and I'll ask for something even better. So we were at the dinner table, my husband, my kids, and I, and we were talking about the Cadillac. And I realized this is just not working out. I said, you know what? Forget the Cadillac, forget the Escalade. Let's get something even better. You know what I've always wanted? I've always wanted a Maserati Quattroporte. Okay. Why not? This one isn't working. Let's get something even better. So my husband opens up his phone and looks. So let's see if we can find one. And sure enough, there was one that was the exact color, the exact model, the exact interior that I wanted in Tampa, just a few hours from me. And get this, it was like $20,000. They discounted it $20,000, which was crazy to me, because all the supply chain issues, all the cars at that time were super expensive. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago, buying a car was like super expensive. And this Maserati that I always wanted was on sale, $20,000 off. By the way, was about the same price as the Escalade that I wanted. So that's how that one worked out. So that's a really great trick. If you're really resistant with something and you can tell it's not coming, it's not coming, it's not coming, drop it and ask for something even better, because I had no resistance with the Maserati. So it came in right away. I hope that makes sense. You can drop something that you're resistant with and ask for something bigger. And because it's something new, it has no resistance. And then all of that desire that you had with the old dream just shoots the new one into place like instantly. Like we found that car like instantly. And I had it like 2 days later. We went down and picked it up. All right. Hope you guys like that little story. That one's fun. And then also, I am working on a new program that's a detachment and letting go program. It's called Relax and Detach. And so, if you've been having a hard time letting go of the things that you want, so you're staying stuck to them and they're just not coming, just not coming, just not coming, that program is really going to be about teaching you how to become a master of letting go so that you can put things out and just let them go. And also, if you have things that you're stuck on, how do you get out of that quagmire and let them go finally? So, that program I hope to have done in October. And there'll be a link also in the YouTube chat Mary put for the Relax and Detach program. So, if you're interested in that, go ahead and click that link. For both of those, if you sign up for those, you will get the discount codes for those when they come out. So, you'll be able to get them both for 50% off. All right. And then as for the next live, My plan is to be back on Thursday, but I won't be on Instagram. I'll be on Facebook. So if you're on Instagram, you can join me over on YouTube or Facebook. All right.